Welcome to our part 4 finale of Pluto Returns, American Revolution 2.0. And if I might say so myself, this has been quite the journey studying about this. Shout out again to Molly McCord. She is awesome. She's been an astrologer for 30 years. I follow her on YouTube here, Molly McCord, MCCORD. She has a website as well with her name as the title, I believe. And I plan on taking her classes very soon to build up my knowledge because I basically am intuitive. Her astrology is very intuitive as well. When I do your birth charts, it's strictly from studying and interpretations. So I'm a very intuitive being, if I say so myself. And me just studying and learning and taking in what I know and feel about these energies coming in via the zodiac signs and planets is how I created this Addicted to Astrology channel. So shout out to you all for following me for almost a year now. Again, my anniversary is coming up in Taurus season, and what a Taurus season it's going to be, so stay tuned. All right, let's get busy with the Pluto Returns part 4. Okay. Again, shout out to MREC TV and Amina. And yeah, I said it in this video. I'm going to place a picture that Molly hipped me to. She also has a link that I'm going to hopefully share with others that is messages, channeled messages that I'm waiting to hear about, especially after she shared this picture. So let me share this picture real quick with y'all. Shout out to Amina again. A patriot, a truther. Check her out on MREC TV on YouTube, as well as Patreon and Instagram. They have a show called The Blackout Show. Enough said. Check this picture out. Huh? 1776 was a busy year, and so was 2022. Let me tell you that. So, transiting Pluto with the natal Pluto at 27 degrees. The natal Mercury, let's start off really quick with that, was in Cancer because Pluto's in Capricorn. Cancer's this opposition sign. That was at 24 degrees. The Cancer themes, Mercury being the planet of communication. And July 4th is, of course, Cancer season, so the sun was in Cancer too. So the Cancer themes, there was a bunch of things in Cancer. I believe it's Venus too. Don't forget to go back to part 1 so you can see the chart from that time. I decided to do part 3 and 4 without the chart. So Pluto, I'm sorry, Mercury was in Cancer, 24 degrees. The Cancer themes are safety, your homeland. You feel very patriotic, you know. July the 4th is Independence Day. That is when we all dress up with our blue, white, and red, you know, the flag being our main focus. So very patriotic on July the 4th in Cancer season. It has to do with, again, your home, your domestic life. These themes are triggering and have been triggering since 2020. Going back into late 2018 and 2019, that was when the nodes also were in Cancer and Capricorn. It didn't change until mid-2020 to Gemini and Sagittarius. It will change again right before Pluto returns hits too, because in January 2022 is when the nodes change to Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node. Get ready for the secrets to pop out. I cannot wait for Scorpio South Node to pop up. Even for myself. Whew, that's going to be transformation 2.0 with the South Node in Scorpio. Anyway, Cancer's walk, the crab is the symbol. Cancer's walk sideways. Crabs walk sideways. So this is like a cautionary, you know, what do you call it? Defense mechanism. So, Pluto, the planet of destruction, rebirth, death and rebirth, sex, power, hidden knowledge, transformation, changes individually and collective, okay? Because it's an outer planet, it has a lot to do with the collective. However, we cannot collectively transform without transforming ourselves as an individual. So Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn has to do with government, politics, authority, big businesses, who's in charge, who's the boss. All those structuring and restrictive things that the Capricorn can bring and is starting to break down and restructure. Let's go back in history a little bit with Pluto. So between 1775 and 1777, there's that number 17, the American Revolution began, and there were several battles within this one period of time, within 2 years, okay? The U.S. was being created. There was a battle of this, the battle of that. I'm not going to go into the history books right now because I don't remember every single battle, but there was a bunch of battles in the American Revolution. The new states were growing. Again, Pluto destroys things. So unfortunately, the indigenous population was being destroyed back then. Slavery was also very legal. Now, thinking back to the picture I just showed you, it's an interesting coincidence that in 1776 that was also being started. Transiting Pluto keeps checking on natal Pluto. Natal Pluto being the Pluto in Capricorn at 27 degrees. So every time it got to 27 degrees of the other cardinal signs, because this is the first time. It takes 250 years. It is 250 years on 2022 from 1776, roughly. Every time one of the cardinal signs in Pluto reached 27 degrees, it would check in with the natal Pluto. So let's begin in 1849 to 1850 when it was 27 degrees of Aries. Pluto was at 27 degrees of Aries. This was the first square. Opening squares means this is new energy. The first square, excuse me, opening up and challenging natal Pluto. Now remember, again, nothing since 1776 has happened like any of this. So because Pluto moves so slow, this is the first and only time that we have knowledge of that Pluto was at 27 degrees of Aries, okay? Because Pluto was also discovered late. So we have to go back and see where Pluto was. Pluto was discovered, I believe, like in the 80s, in 1980s. Anyway, or like late 70s, like around when I was born. This first square opened up challenges, okay, because Aries squaring Capricorn. We're talking about the ram squaring the goat. The ram conflicting the goat. New beginnings, new leaders, new era, pioneers, war, fire, anger, aggression. All Aries type of situations. Aries being an independent, ego-ruled sign. Ruled by Mars. Action-taking, aggression, impulsive. A perfect example of a pioneer that came out of Pluto and Aries at 27 degrees around 1849 to 1850 was Harriet Tubman. Slavery was still illegal, and she was a pioneer of independence that took on the leadership of course, freeing slaves. This is also when the Fugitive Slave Act started. If you remember your history books, we're doing astrology is not only science, math, religion, it's also history. Because we have to look at the history of the natal placements. It's just like looking at even your Saturn return. That's the one return that most people know because it happens every 30 years, and it happens to people when they're between 28 and 30, 58 and 60, and 88 and 90 if you're blessed to live that long. So this is when you have a reality check with life. So again, shout out to the 1991 kids who are having their Saturn return right now. All right, where was I? Harriet Tubman, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, which was when Slaves that escaped even to the free states of all things, even up to the north, they had to be returned to their masters. So that's the masters being Capricorn, that boss. But it was Pluto in Capricorn that was trying to be independent and separate themselves from the boss. So checking with the boss said no, slaves had to go back. The Scarlet Letter was discovered around this time, and the California Gold Rush happened at this time too. So still some independent situations going on, trying to create impulsive action taking with Pluto in Aries at this time. Now, it got even more pivotal when World War II dropped and Pluto was in Cancer, which is the cardinal sign, an opposition sign of Pluto in Capricorn. So when Pluto was in Cancer, 27 degrees, this of course was right before World War II. The Great Depression happened. There was also something called the migrant mother, which is had to do a lot of migrators coming in from other countries. This being Pluto and Cancer, all things Cancer. They were coming from other countries because our country felt safe. It was secure. This is also the year when Social Security Act started. So the word security is big with Cancer. People felt secure with unemployment high, but still getting unemployment insurance. See how this is even correlating with what's going on now. And then this was even in 1937, they started the marijuana, the Mary Jane Act, because hemp was cheaper to create. And it's being revitalized now because there's all kinds of places want to open up and say that they are legal. Weed is legal. But the transiting Pluto in Cancer, opposing the natal Pluto in Capricorn, was like, how do we take people and help them feel secure and still be in charge? Throw them a couple of panics, a couple of depressive states, and band-aid it. And that's exactly what happened. Moving on, 1982 to 1983, Pluto was in Libra, squaring the natal Pluto in Capricorn. This is the final cardinal sign before it hits now back into its home, its natal chart, its natal return, right? So Libra has to do with all things relating to others, relationships. This was a testing time of the relationships, contracts, and agreements. This was, again, Reaganomics. This is kind of just like Neptune return follows. Even though those are the mutable signs, it followed the cardinal signs with certain time periods. So Reaganomics, recession, the tax reductions, changes, settling deals, mindfulness of fairness for people. The Soviet Union boycotted the LA Olympics. I happened to be at the LA Olympics when me and my brother went with my godmother, because my brother is my god brother. Rest in peace to his mother, my godmother Gloria. Godmother Gloria, my brother Jabri, my mother, and me and my father even went to, and a few of my mother's other friends and their kids. We all took a big trip to LA for the Olympics that year. So, I believe that it was like Pluto was transforming the relationships right then, because actually, from what I remember personally, my mother broke up with all those friends, or either lost some of them. I think she has one of those friends left. Anyway, AT&T was broken up. Also, the whole United States used AT&T as the phone company, and it finally discovered, some new phone companies were discovered, ways to relate to other people in new kind of ways and transforming kind of ways with Pluto in Libra. Pluto again has to deal with death, so that is probably why Some of my mother's friends were transformed that year, transforming. That is also the year of AIDS. AIDS began in the early 80s. Transforming relationships because people were catching it sexually transmitted. And this is just how the U.S. reacted with other countries as well. Now, I hope that breakdown was definitely easy enough for you to understand and think back and, relate to, or whatever I'm trying to say. Transform from, or see how things transform. Now, the Pluto return dates for the upcoming 2 years. The Pluto return will last for 2 years, y'all. February 2022, July and December 2022, because it will be retrograding. Sorry, y'all, Minty was scratching on the door as usual. All right. The Pluto return dates for 2023 are January 2023, September, and October of 2023. So 2 years of Pluto return in 27 degrees of Capricorn. I don't know what to expect, y'all, but just prepare now. Why not? It is really going to happen. You can see it happening already. We're talking about reforming the country. We're talking about transforming everything, especially corporations, government, financial institutions. Currently, Pluto's destroying the country right now. Totally destroying it. It is us, but it's also Pluto bringing it out of us, telling us it's time to separate. Saturn gave us the reality check back in 2020 when it was in Capricorn itself. Saturn again is ruled by Capricorn, so it is ruling Pluto in Capricorn as well. Saturn gives those reality checks, shows you what you need to be responsible at, shows you what doesn't work with these structures anymore. And it was going through Capricorn conjuncting Pluto when it was going through it in 2020. So it was giving us that intensity of what is coming. This means, again, governments, federal, state, local, regional, international, all governments. International, again, because the U.S. affects the world. So you see it happening everywhere. Shout out to my people in the UK with their Brexit, I believe it's called. They have separated themselves from Europe. Shout out to them. We already also saw this with the CEOs leaving big corporations, stepping down. We saw it with the election issues. Those who know there was election issues. I mean, everything the country was built on is being challenged. Everything the country was built on back in 1776 is being challenged right now. Why is this going to happen in February 2022, which is not Capricorn season, it's actually Aquarius season, because the Aquarius moon that has to deal with the people was in the natal chart when Pluto was in Capricorn in 27 and 1776. So this Aquarius moon dealing with the people in groups, I think I spoke about this in part 1 or 2. This Aquarius moon was not, it did not transform the people at that time. It put them in place for something I guess we just had to go through. By February 2023, that Aquarius moon, Saturn is going to conjunct that Aquarius moon, and we will get another reality check. Saturn will break down what we rely on as people. Saturn is the ruler again of Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto will still be in Capricorn. Pluto will still be in its return in 2023, to the end of 2023. So when Saturn, which will still be in Aquarius, getting ready to move into Pisces, I believe, conjuncts the moon in Aquarius in February of 2023, This is not that far, y'all. Okay. This will change the United States permanently. Not only with Pluto return changing everything permanently, but this conjunction of Saturn and the moon during its natal position of when Pluto and all the other planets were in 1776. We're talking about everything where people, large places where people congregate, schools, churches, large arenas, big places. And we got a piece again of this in the reality check of 2020. These things are going to close, basically. That is what I'm seeing. That is what I'm interpreting. Aquarius means new technologies. Saturn means shut down whatever does not work anymore. So prepare now. Me, I'm already done with schools. I'm wondering why they're still building them. It's working from home. So that's the way I'm preparing. Large arenas, this year we didn't have anybody in the arenas, just the players. I don't think it's going to change. More than likely, they'll have to shut down because of costs. See how this is all coming. It's not like we're going back to what we knew. It's not going to happen, y'all. It's not going to happen. So prepare now. I don't know how to tell you to prepare with your own self. If you have kids, I would suggest you do. You know, I'm looking into starting a curriculum for homeschool. Of course, one is going to be about astrology, but I'm definitely, because I have early childhood background, I'm definitely willing to write some curriculums for some of you parents that are going to be doing homeschooling like myself. So let's just step into this with all the confidence and the trust like the Aries new moon gave us. Let's step into this feeling ready for change. Change is good. Pluto will hopefully keep all of us that are watching and talking alive. And we will just move through this as we have moved through everything else. All right, I'm TMZ, teaching everyone abundantly, empowering many. Zakia, which means intelligent in Arabic, enlightening every day, empowering every day, evolving every day. Check me out on Instagram at getalife_INC Incorporated. Get a Life stands for growing into divine adults, loving yourself forever. That is the company I'm starting soon as this tour season hits and everything pops off with our finances. Check out the previous videos that I've had for Pluto returns. This was part 4, so this is the final video on Pluto returns. Check out all my other videos for the week in astrology, the forecast. Hit me up if you need birth charts. My email is teemzee@gmail.com. And I think that's it. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and viewing. If you didn't subscribe, subscribe now. If you didn't check like, check like now. Thank you for watching this whole video through. Peace.